Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another NFL tier list video. This time I'm going to be ranking NFL stadiums, and I have my custom tiers right here. The first tier, legendary, speaks for itself. That's obviously the best of the best. Next, we've got the impressive tier, which is a really good stadium, but maybe not, top of the line. The average tier, that's probably where a lot of these stadiums are going to be. Below average, it's just not a good stadium, or it's very boring. And then the worst of the worst, those are my 5 tiers. That's how I'm going to be ranking all of these NFL stadiums. So let's get right into it. Starting with looks like the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know what, some of these names I'll know, some of them I won't. I think this is M&T Bank. Maybe I'm wrong, but to me, the Ravens Stadium always struck me as extremely average. I think it's going to end up on the upper side of average, like almost to the impressive, but it's certainly, there's nothing special about it. It's a typical stadium. I've seen some college football. Well, I haven't personally been to it, but there's a lot of college football games. Navy plays there, I think. Army, maybe. The military academies play there. So I will put that in the average tier. Next, we have the Seattle Seahawks Stadium, which is great for crowd noise. Certainly, it's at least average. I'm actually going to say it's impressive because I just think this stadium fits Seattle so well. Like the rainy, the fog, 52 degrees. We know during the Legion of Boom era, it was just like it kept the noise in. Loudest stadium in the NFL back in 2013, 2014. When you went in there, I remember, to me, guys, 2013, 2014 was the best time in NFL history. I don't know, it was just unbelievable. But I remember Legion of Boom. I would have to sit my fantasy superstars because you go in there, there's zero chance they're going to do it. Like the Seahawks had such a crazy defense. We're never going to see a defense like that again. And it just, off the crowd noise, loudest stadium during that time. I'll put it in the impressive tier. There's nothing, they have that nice little pyramid, seating scheme at the one end zone. You guys know what I'm talking about. So that's a little unique about it. Overall, also it has kind of it almost looks like a retractable roof on both sides, but it's not a retractable roof. I do not like retractable roofs. I like the way that looks though. And then they also have, I think it was Safeco Field. Now it's like T-Mobile Park. The Mariners, the MLB team, they have an actual retractable roof, but it's an open air stadium, so it's very cool. Next, we have, this was Sun Life Stadium. It's now Hard Rock, and they actually remodeled it, and I think they did an unbelievable job on the remodel. When the Florida Marlins played there, I would have put it as worst because it was just horrible. It was just a rectangle with 2 grandstands. It's better now. They did such a good job. It's such a great vibe there. It just fits Miami so well. They removed some of the seating. They added little roofs to the side of it, but the field is still open to where the sun comes down. Really good vibe. It's unfortunate the Miami Hurricanes have to play there. If you're a college team, you never like having to play in an NFL stadium, but they did such a great job, getting the Miami vibe to the stadium. I don't even know how to talk right now. Next, we have the Redskins Stadium, which at one point I believe was FedEx Field. I don't know if it's still called that. I think FedEx might want to not have their name attached to this stadium. So, one of the worst stadiums. I think maybe 2 years ago or last year, part of the seating fell on, was it Russell Wilson? At the end of the game, there was a section of seats that fell and it almost nailed, a bunch of fans fell down because they were leaning on the side of the grandstand, reaching over. It's just a horrible stadium. The Commanders now are talking about getting a new stadium by 2025, somewhere around the DC area. So hopefully that happens. They definitely need one. But it's weird. They've been removing parts of the upper deck because they don't get enough fans. The Redskins didn't get enough fans, and they started to remove portions of the upper deck, and it made it look so bad. Oh my God, obviously one of the worst stadiums. Next, we've got the Lambeau Field, and this has to be legendary. You know, I've nicknamed this stadium the Cathedral. I just think it's a great nickname for it. That's what it is. It's the cathedral of the NFL. It's beautiful. It's got such a great personality. Even after the renovation and how they added those seats, I thought they did it in such a good way. That's the correct way to do a renovation. But you guys want to know the best renovation I've ever seen? The Coliseum. USC. Oh, the Coliseum looks amazing now. I've never seen, but they did a good job with the renovation. They renovated it, added seating back in maybe like 2012, 2013, I want to say, sometime around there. But it still looks amazing, and it's got the great vibe. We know the frozen tundra. It's got its own personality. It gets to -5 degrees. It's beautiful. I love that stadium. Next, it looks like this is Mile High. That's a aerial shot of Mile High. So I think this is a solid stadium, but it's very similar to M&T. Is that M&T Bank? I don't know if that's what. It's very similar to the Ravens Stadium, where it is kind of an average NFL stadium. I do like watching 4 o'clock games when they're in Denver. I don't know what it is. It's like that late afternoon games in Denver, especially when, I'm telling you guys, 2013 Peyton Manning, the greatest quarterback season I've seen in my life. 2013 Peyton Manning. Oh my God. You've got Julius Thomas. You've got Demaryius Thomas. You've got Wes Welker. You've got Sean Moreno. Oh, that offense was so fun. And they played all these 4 o'clock games because they're, in the AFC West and in that, the Mountain Time Zone. So great times, great memories with the Denver Broncos. They've got a decent stadium. There's no problems with it. Next, this is the Patriots Stadium. I think this is probably a little bit better than the Ravens, but another one that's pretty average. Gillette, yeah, it's Gillette Stadium. If I would have messed that up, everyone knows that that's Gillette. So I would say another solid stadium. I know they play a lot of MLS games there, the soccer games, or football if you're European, whatever. But a lot of soccer games and things like that. So, it's a big stadium. It looks nice. There's nothing wrong with it. I could understand some people moving it up to impressive, but I don't know. I'm just not there personally. Next is MetLife, with the Giants and the Jets. I just don't like it. I hate the camouflage seating. To me, it's very corporate. There's nothing special about it. It's just overall bland. It's got no character, no personality. And honestly, it's tough because two teams share the same stadium, so it's a weird thing that happens there. And I just think the Jets and the Giants, there's just no personality to the stadium. I don't think it's the worst. It's not horrific. The camouflage seating sucks. It looks bad. The overall stadium, when you look at the stadium outside, it looks like a massive, weird office building. I'm not kidding. If you Google the exterior of MetLife, it kind of looks cool, I'm not going to lie, but it looks like this weird futuristic office. I don't know. Next, it looks like we've got Levi Stadium. That is the 49ers, kind of the newer stadium. So to me, I just don't like this stadium very much. I don't think it's horrible, so I'm going to put it at the back of average. But they did do something very unique with this stadium where you've got all the grandstands on one side and then 3 levels of, or maybe even more than that, 4 levels of suites on the other side. So you've got all the grandstands with an upper deck on one side and then a bunch of suites just kind of toppled on top of each other. For being a modern stadium, I don't love it, but obviously they had to move from Candlestick, and it is an upgrade from Candlestick. But I do think there was a significant good personality with Candlestick, especially those last few years with Jim Harbaugh, with Patrick Willis. That defense, they thrived in that stadium. But again, they had to upgrade, and Candlestick has since been knocked down, and now they've got this place. This stadium has hosted, I think this stadium hosted the Super Bowl when Von Miller won Super Bowl MVP with the Cam Newton. It was, Peyton Manning's last year. So a lot of memories there, but kind of average. Next, we've got Ford Field. Guys, this is a weird one. I know people aren't going to I love this stadium. I don't know why. I love it. I'm going to put it in the impressive tier. It's not legendary, but Ford Field, something about it. I just think it's cozy. It's clean. I don't normally like domes, but just the overall lighting in the stadium, I can't explain it. I just think it looks great. And I think if the Lions truly embrace being an offensive first team, I mean, I say an offensive first team, they just drafted Aiden Hutchinson second overall, but it's like you got Jameson Williams, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown. If you just tank for one more year and get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, you've already got DeAndre Swift, a superstar running back. You could have an aerial assault, a phenomenal offense in a dome. You don't have to worry about the weather. I love Ford Field. There's something about the lighting that's perfect. It's a cozy stadium. It's not big, but it has enough seating. Very nice. I know people aren't going to agree, but that's just a personal opinion. Next, the Panthers Stadium. Oh, not good. It's not horrible, but it is just an eyesore. It's so boring. This is where a lot of neutral site college football games are. This is where the ACC championship normally takes place. It's got just 2 stands of seating. And it does kind of remind me of Arrowhead, but I am going to have Arrowhead significantly above it just because it's a little bit different. I don't know, man. I just don't like the Panthers Stadium. It's very bland to me. So I'll put it in below average. Maybe actually, no, I'm leaving MetLife and the Panthers Stadium are very close to me. Next, we have the Titans. This is another horrible stadium. I have to put it in front of the Commanders, but the Titans are another team. They're in talks of hopefully getting a new stadium by 2025 or 2026. It is terrible. I believe this is where the Music City Bowl is played, but the stadium is completely outdated. There's not one unique facet of it. It's very boring, and it just is completely outdated. Next, we have Lucas Oil Stadium, so the Colts Stadium, which hosts the Big Ten Championship game, and this is another one I think is very, very clean. It is a dome. I think right now we're going to put it in impressive. Indianapolis has an amazing city, apparently, for like tourism, and just their hotels apparently are really good. That's why the Big Ten Championship is always there. But when I think of this stadium, the one word that comes to mind for me, clean. It just seems like a very clean stadium. I don't know why. Maybe that's just the vibe I get from it. But yeah, so it's an impressive stadium to me. Maybe you could put it in the upper echelon of average. But no, I do like it. And I like the window. The window on the side, and then you've got Jim Irsay tweeting out every week if the window is going to be open or closed. It's very an interesting thing. That happens, I think, right? With the window, they open it sometimes, and they let the light in. I like that. I like when stadiums have things like that. Personally, next we have, this was like University of Phoenix Stadium. I don't know if it's still, oh no, that's not what this is. This is Reliant Stadium, right? The photos, you can I think this is the Houston Texans Stadium. It's below average if it is. That is a below average stadium. I'm actually going to put MetLife in front of it. I do not like it. It was called Reliant Stadium. The name might have gotten changed. But yeah, there's nothing special at all about it. In my opinion, I just think it's a very kind of maybe even a little bit below average stadium, and I would put, I mean, it and MetLife are very close. Really, even the 49ers is close, but there's nothing special. I hate domes. And wait, isn't it a retractable roof? Oh, it is a retractable roof, but the roof is never open. This is what always happens with domes, especially in warm weather cities. They'll never open the roof. When it's 80 degrees and sunny, the roof is closed. You want to know why the roof is closed when it's 80 and sunny? Because they say it's not the ideal temperature, and we can close the roof and have a climate-controlled 72-degree temperature. So they never open it. That's the problem with retractable roofs, is they never open it. Miami Marlins, the Marlins Park in Miami has the same issue. It's 80 and sunny out, but because of the humidity, they won't open it. It's the same problem. So this is a retractable roof, but it's barely ever open because of the Texas heat. Next, we've got the Jaguars Stadium, which is really, really, really bad. This is where the world's biggest cocktail party, that annual neutral site Georgia-Florida game, is at. Yeah, it's a very bad. I'm going to put it in front of the Titans Stadium due to the pool. Isn't it like Everlife Field or something? I don't know. It's something like that. But yeah, it's not a good stadium. It's one of the worst in the NFL. It's very small, and it doesn't help that the Jaguars are horrible. On top of that, next we've got the Dome, Mercedes-Benz Superdome, which hosts so many huge events. To me, I like the stadium. I think it's at least, I would probably put it below the newly renovated Dolphins Stadium in the average tier. There may be some people that think it's legendary, but me personally, I will say, when the Saints had an amazing offense with Drew Brees and you knew every game in that dome was going to be a shootout, it was an amazing time. Back in 2013, 2014, when the NFL was at its peak, there's nothing like it. But now it's like they got Jameis Winston. It's just like, I don't know, man. But I mean, it's still a decent stadium. We know college football playoff games happen there. New Year's Six games are hosted there every single year. I think it hosts the Sugar Bowl, I want to say. So I think it's above average, but I'm not going to move it into the impressive tier in my opinion. Next, we have the Bengals Stadium, and this is a below average stadium. I'll put it at the front end of below average, but this is another one. There's nothing special about it at all. It's just a normal stadium. I mean, you could put it in average, but I think these stadiums are a little bit a step up from the Bengals Stadium personally. Next, we have the University of Phoenix Stadium. I do not like this stadium at all. Whenever Ohio State plays in the Fiesta Bowl and plays at this stadium, it's just ugly. I'm putting it in below average. I know it always hosts a big college football game. This is the Cardinals Stadium, but it's just an eyesore to me. It is unique how with this stadium, it is a dome, but they actually have the field on wheels, and they roll the field out so it gets sunlight, and then they roll it back in through the bottom. It's a unique thing, but it's like that doesn't happen, during the game or anything like that. So it's like during the game, the stadium is just very, very average to me, in my opinion. Next, we have, I believe, this has got to be Raymond James. Yeah, so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium. This is another one. I'm going to go ahead and say below average personally. I'll probably put it right in between the Bengals and the Cardinals. There's nothing special. It's very symmetrical. Actually, I'll put it in front of the Bengals. We'll go ahead and put it in front of the Bengals. This is where South Florida, the college football team, plays their home games. So, yeah, it's a below average stadium, honestly. This stadium was just, I don't know why it's on here. This is where the Chargers played before their new dome got built in LA. So they share a dome with the Rams. So this is like the MLS field or something where they played. It only seats 20K. They only played there for like 2 years. I mean, I'll put it at the front end of worst. I don't know. It's not even where any team plays anymore. Next, we have Arrowhead. So this is a very iconic stadium, but it is very old. I'm going to probably, you could put it in the impressive because it's nostalgic and the way it's shaped is awesome. It's just one of those stadiums that has really a kind of a mind of its own with the way the seating is, but they are in talks of actually building a new stadium because it either needs to be renovated. It's just very old. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns Stadium, very similar to the Ravens, extremely average, just nothing special about it, very average. That's all you can say about it. Now we have the Minnesota Vikings new stadium, which recently hosted a Super Bowl. Guys, I just hate these dome stadiums. I mean, you'll put it at like the front end of average because it's cool, because it's futuristic, it's new. There's just nothing special about it. It's just a crap dome stadium, whatever. Next, we have this is the Chicago Bears Stadium, and this is a bad stadium, and they're actually talking about getting a new one in the coming years, so it needs to, I'm not going to put it, you actually can put it in the worst, because it's really bad. We're going to put it as one of the worst, in my opinion, the Bears Stadium. They're talking about a new stadium again, guys, because it's so bad. They renovated this back in 2006, and the renovation, apparently nobody liked it. I was watching a video about how the renovation made this stadium worse, like significantly worse. Next, we've got the Coliseum. The Coliseum doesn't even host football games anymore. I mean, it's one of the worst, but the Raiders have moved into the Death Star, which is what, and by the way, the Raiders' new dome stadium, I would have as probably it's not on this list because I think this is not updated. What is this stadium at the end? How do you expect me to know what that is? But guys, overall, the Raiders' Death Star new dome, I would put in impressive. personally. I would put it in impressive. Is that what they... Oh, no, this is Jerry World. Jerry World, I think... I love Jerry World. It is... No, I have to put it in impressive. I just like it. I know people think it's average, it's boring. To me, I love it. It's massive. The way they do it, like with Texas and with Jerry Jones, how they made that, I love that they made it a spectacle. It's huge, and it looks like a spaceship from the outside. The next is the new Rams Stadium, which is an unbelievable stadium in its own right. I have to put it in impressive. I know it's a dome, but I think it's a better dome. I don't think it's as good as the Vegas Raiders Dome. The Vegas Raiders Dome is probably the second best stadium in the NFL right now. It's a freaking Death Star. It's not on this list because it's not updated, but it's a Death Star. But this is the multi-team, the Rams, the LA Rams and the LA Chargers share this stadium. Next, we have the Bills. So the Bills are getting a new stadium. This has to go in one of the worst. Their stadium looks like a mid-tier college football, type deal. Maybe like Wake Forest. I mean, it's just not big at all. It's extremely old, and they are actually going to be building, if they can get the taxpayer money, they're going to be building a new stadium in a few years. Hopefully, they will be laying or breaking ground by 2024. Next is the new Atlanta Falcons new stadium. So I'm going to put it in the upper tier of average, kind of similar to the Vikings. Very interesting shape. In the middle, they have this circular thing that opens up. So it's interesting, but I just do not... This is where a lot of like neutral site college football games get played. The SEC Championship gets played there now. I don't know, man. Some of the domes I just can't agree with. I know it's unique with the circle in the middle and the way it opens up, but... Like, you're not seeing that. It just looks on TV. You're not seeing it open up. So I have to put it kind of as average. Next is the Eagles Stadium. I believe this is where Temple football also plays. To me, this is average, but it does fit Philadelphia pretty well. So I'm going to put it, in front of Gillette. We'll put it there. I think that's a pretty good spot for it. And then... I mean, what is this, the freaking Hall of Fame game? What is it? Is this the Hall of... I don't know what stadium this is, if anyone knows. Maybe it's Heinz Field. That's like the Steelers one. That's the only one I can think of that has two, massive, grandstands on the side with no big grandstands on either end zones. So I'm going to say this is Heinz Field. I think Heinz Field fits the Steelers. I don't know what stadium this is. I'm assuming it's Heinz Field. We're going to put it upper echelon of average because I think the stadium fits like the Steelers culture really well. It's average overall. This is where Pittsburgh University plays. But overall, those are my rankings. So I do only have one in Legendary. Honestly... The new Vegas Raiders Stadium, I might also put in Legendary. The thing is a Death Star, guys. It's a Death Star. But, Lambeau's unbelievable. Ford Field is just a random one that I like. I know it's just my opinion. It's whatever, guys. But that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.